It's that time. The Bright Side Chronicles is about to go down with Kerri and Nana. You ready for the show to begin?
Hey, let's go. Let's get it. It's almost showtime. Let's go. Let's get it. It's almost go time. Let's freaking go.
Yo, yo, yo.
Heck yeah.
That time. What time is it, babe?
I think it's like what 7:01.
You funny. All right, y'all. It is episode 34 of the Bright Side Chronicles.
34.
I know. With
Wow.
your hosts, Kerri Lewis and Nana
I'm just
Agyemang.
some black guy. That's
Actually, going by your pictures
Yo.
this week, you're the
what?
golden chocolate leprechaun.
Yo, that's
But
crazy.
anyway,
That's crazy.
Anyway, this is a show all about bringing joy to the masses. We invite people on the show who have figured out what inspires them to experience joy in their lives, and we have good conversations around how that infiltrates how they experience life, which is super important. Why?
Because there's a lot of challenging times in life. It's nice to kind of at least mix it up and just talk about the good things that happen in life to switch avenues. You know what I mean? Like, why not?
Well, moreover, choosing joy elevates your energetic vibration, which then attracts more joyful experiences to you. So that is why we are here. This is super interactive, guys. So please feel free to add your comments and we will respond. Additionally, our amazing guest that I'm going to let Nana introduce in a moment.
Yes.
His information is going to be scrolling across the bottom. Please feel free to follow him and support him and how he shows up in joy. And let's get this party started, babe.
Yeah, I'm with it. So today we absolutely have one of my favorite people I've met. Right, we go back, what, is it almost going to 2 years now?
Yeah, almost 2 years because we met not this past Japan Festival Austin, but the one before that.
And
when
that
I
was
actually
cool.
came back. Yeah.
But it was so random though. So like literally, like we met at the Japanese festival where I was dressed up as a character from Dr. Stone, which I still have yet to see yet. I'm slacking on it, but I will definitely eventually watch that one of these days.
Dude, you totally need to watch it. I've literally become obsessed with that anime. It's just so awesome, and I absolutely love it.
Well, I mean, the thing is, you also do a really good like cosplay for it too. So like, we'll
Exactly.
get into that and we'll
Yep.
delve into it. But tell the audience more about yourself. Like, what do you do? Like, who are you? What makes you who you are?
All right, sure. So, for anyone who doesn't know me, my name is Ryan Wallace. In the cosplay community, I'm known as the Nerds Magician, but outside of it, I'm actually a fully performing semi-professional magician as well too.
Wow.
Yeah, I know, right? It's like not as many people know about that side of me, but I've been trying to get more in with that. So I perform magic not only for cosplayers, but also for just like people outside of cosplay, like for like regular things in the real world. Whether it's I've done shows for clients who have been with insurance firms.
What?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
I do private parties. I perform just for like all sorts of different things. Yeah, that's like one of my favorite things to do as well too. There's not only here in Worcester, but also out in Boston. There's a whole bunch of us that are performing magicians as well too. That we do things all over New England for stuff. So it's like one of my absolute favorite passions. That it almost died on me during the pandemic, but because during the pandemic everybody was just all inside and it was crazy times. But once we came out, I want to say back in. Yeah, it would actually be the spring of 2022 is when I got back into it, got back into practicing and performing more. And now I've just gone full steam ahead with it. So it's one of my favorite things to get to do for people. And what I actually notice with it too is when I get to perform for people, they love seeing it. It's like every time I perform something for someone, they just light up and they're like, what just happened? This guy's crazy.
But that's the thing is like you're doing something that you enjoy and it's bringing people that Since I haven't started, this chocolate is hitting.
I know,
So
I love it.
apologize.
I'm watching Nana,
I'm
and as
sorry.
he's saying you're doing something you enjoy, I'm
enjoying
watching
eating
him
chocolate.
enjoy eating milk chocolate with Joe
Right.
Hint, but whatever. So anyway, Ryan, let me ask you this. How did you get into performing and doing magic tricks? And then to add on to that question, what drove you to then make that your profession?
Mm-hmm.
So actually, so here's the scary part that I tell people. I have been a practicing and performing magician since I was 14 years old. I'm 33 now. So
Wow.
almost 19, 20 years in there. Yeah. I started actually because my older brother got into it, and then I kind of just followed him in with that as well too. And
Yeah.
I was very lucky where I grew up. So I'm not originally from Massachusetts. I'm originally from upstate central New York.
Oh, what the
And
heck?
yeah, I know that surprises everybody. Yeah, I'm
Mhm.
not originally from Massachusetts. And when I was growing up in my teenage years and even sort of my early 20s, I was very, very lucky enough to have someone who was very local that taught, actually not myself, but a bunch of other friends of mine as well too,
Yeah.
to actually be a performing and practicing magician. And not only did I had like 3 people that taught me with that, and one of the people who taught me is actually a full touring illusionist. Like he does like the Vegas style illusions.
Wow.
Holy
And I'm
shit.
actually, yep, and I'm going to see him actually tomorrow down in Foxwoods. He is a
That's
full.
interesting.
He's been on. He has. I hate tooting people's horns, but he has been on America's Got Talent. He's been on Penn and Teller Fool Us. He's even been on Jimmy Fallon before as well too. Yeah.
What?
His name is Illusionist Leon Etienne, and he is actually one of my mentors that taught me a lot about being on stage, how to actually perform on stage, and just stagecraft with all the illusions and stuff.
Ooh.
I don't perform like the big illusions that he does, but he taught me a lot about like just how to be on stage, how to have a good persona for that, and everything. So,
Well, so
I own a lot. I owe a lot of that stuff to him.
I love that you actually have a mentor, because that's what I think a lot of people sometimes forget, that you can know as much as you can, but if you don't have somebody that's also guiding you and not gatekeeping and stuff like that, that
Yeah.
goes a long way to help like the maturation of a person to
Yeah.
like keep, challenging themselves and following their joys that they enjoy. You know what I mean? Like that's what?
Well, so, my question is, so at 14, you had your older brother who kind of got, opened a path for you, but at that age, a lot of people struggle with confidence. So how is it that you were able to cultivate this sense of self, that you felt comfortable putting yourself out there and doing magic tricks in front of an audience? Because I can imagine that probably put you outside your comfort zone.
Yeah, it was when I first started. I was like scared beyond belief. I was so nervous performing, but again, with all that, I was lucky enough that not only myself but other people I knew around me, they also performed with me as well too. So we would actually go out in groups and perform for different things. I belonged to a few different organizations back then. And I was actually able to practice in front of other people just within the organization. So it's kind of like my little like safe area to practice. And what I found out is that not only the more that I practiced, but just the more that I went out and performed for people, it got easier and easier for me.
Yeah. And
also,
I imagine having community was super helpful too. Something you highlighted that Nana and I talk extensively about when we're talking and encouraging people to cultivate joy is when you surround yourself with like-minded individuals who are practicing the same craft or passionate about similar things, or even if they're not, but they're putting themselves out there in their own unique way, it allows you to feel comfortable being seen because you're not afraid of being judged while you figure out how you're going to hone your skills.
Yeah, and not only with that, but also I'm not a theater kid per se, but I have had quite a bit of experience in my hometown with like some of the local like theater companies. I've actually gotten to be part of that. And by being part of the theater communities, that's actually what really gave me the confidence to get up on stage and perform in front of people. I would say about 6 or 7 years ago, I would not have been able to perform on stage at all because I would have been like a total wreck with nerves. But just before the it was just before the pandemic hit. I was part of a play at a local community college in my hometown area. I was the lead actor for it. So doing that actually really gave me the boost in confidence that I need to actually be able to get on stage and really perform in front of people. Because when I got onto the stage, what I tell people is that as a performer, what happens is when you finally get up on stage in front of everybody, it's like a switch flips in your mind, and you basically go into the mindset of performing for people and drawing the audience into what you're doing. And to me, that's something that not only as a magician, but also when I do stuff for cosplay events, that I do that it fully goes in with that. So that's actually going to lead into the next thing, Kerri, that you want to ask, like, how did I get in with the cosplay and stuff?
Oh, look at you and your intuition.
I was gonna
say. So what actually happened with that was, I think it was in the same thing, spring of 2022. I forget where I was, but I had just kind of like started getting back into like practicing and stuff, and I started noticing that there's this guy who I saw at like a small mini convention that was doing like some magic stuff, and I was like, wait, he's doing magic as an anime convention? How do you do a small anime convention? How do you do that? And then the stuff he started doing, I'm just like, dude, that's some of the easiest stuff that I know how to do. If you can do that, I could do that 10 times better.
I love that.
That's what drew me back into it. And then what really helped out is actually the cosplay I'm very well known for. From the anime Dr. Stone, I cosplay as the character Gen Asagiri. And in Dr. Stone, Gen is a mentalist and a magician in there. So you kind of see where So what it allows me to do is it actually allows me to bring out my performer side when I cosplay as Gen. And the reason why I say that is because when we cosplay, we're basically just dressing up and acting as another character for that. And one of the coolest things that I like to tell people is that what the actual definition of a magician is. And a magician is a person who plays the role of an actor that performs miracles. So you can see the correlation there.
Oh shit!
Yep. Okay, I actually like that.
That's pretty cool, right? Yeah. After being around the magicians I know, I'll do a little humble bragging. You brag as much as you want. She's gonna brag as much as you want.
You brag, and then I'm gonna say my piece on bragging.
Sure. So to put it in perspective, practicing and performing and being in the community with magicians, I have met and trained under magicians who have worked in Las Vegas at some of the biggest like hotel and casinos there. They have literally one of my biggest teachers, and I hope to eventually like go under a full class with him, is a magician by the name of Jeff McBride. He actually has a magician school out in Las Vegas, and he's like one of the foremost magicians that if we want to learn more on our craft and actually get better at performing, it's like perform for like America's Got Talent, any of these TV things, they go to Jeff to actually learn how to hone their craft. And I've gotten to meet him and work under him for a little bit as well too. So I've gotten to work with like basically Vegas level magicians before that have taught me like how to like really improve my showmanship, get better at practicing, all that kind of stuff. So that's really what I attribute to why I've gotten a lot better and why I can perform so well when I do like my performances.
Yeah.
So I'm curious so something that you keep mentioning that I absolutely love is it is a craft. It's a skill and it's something you have to be passionate about, whether it's educating people to purchase a car or whether it's him dressing up in cosplay or going to the gym, right? Anything that we're passionate about becomes a craft because we continue to focus on it and hone our skills. So how often do you practice to be able to really be an effective performer and cultivate those skills so that maybe one day you're on America's Got Talent?
I practice a lot, actually. I try to do it like at least 10, like on the low end, 10 minutes, on the high end, 45, 50 minutes daily to actually get down the skills that I need. It also really depends too, like when I get hired to perform, whether they want me to do like more of like a close-up, more intimate performance for people, or when I've done stuff at like some of the different anime conventions I go to when I perform on stage. That takes me quite a bit more practice, because not only do I have to get down like the stuff that I'm going to perform, but I also have to rehearse how am I going to like basically stand in front of people? How am I going to present myself? What am I going to say? Basically called scripting in magician lingo. And how am I actually just going to keep people involved in the stuff that I'm going to perform? Because that's my ultimate goal whenever I perform for people. How do I keep them actively engaged and involved so that they're always focusing on me? Whoever I bring up to help me out, they're focusing on them, and they're not just like kind of spacing out, drifting off into La La Land and get bored. That's like the one thing I don't want. Is I don't want people to get bored of what I'm doing and then they just start drifting off, going on their phones. I want people to focus on me or the person who's helping me out, and then that way they stay entranced in everything for that. That's my ultimate goal, is when I'm performing, you focus on the stuff that you see me doing, and it just creates, as cliche as it sounds, it creates a magical moment.
That's what it is. I mean,
exactly.
For example, I was at Kineticon with you, and your friend did the magic trick on me, and I was walking, babe. I was literally just walking through, and then I see Ryan, and then his friend comes up to me and he's like, "Yo, you want to see a magic trick?" I'm like,
that's
like, what the heck? So I'm over here like, I love magic. I think it's cool as shit. And he did this trick. I was just like, bro, this doesn't make, and I'm like, I'm low-key gullible, let's be honest. Like, I'll fall for some shit, but I was like, nah, I got this. And then he did some stuff, and I was like, this doesn't make any sense. It literally made no sense. But it was like cool because I'm just a random dude just walking through, and he approached me and he just was like, yo, like, want to see magic? I'm like, sure, like I'm with it. And that shows the whole like magical moment is like, I remember that, to this day. And that's the whole creating moments, creating memories, whether you're at a con or whether you're at, insurance
other performances,
whatever it is. Like people will recollect back and think like, oh man, I remember that moment that happened. So that's the things, like just really being in the present and enjoying those moments,
Yeah. And not, as I also put it too, creating the magical moments is one of the biggest things for me, but also just interacting with people, creating that connection with them as well too. Because I love performing for magic, but also getting to know people as well too with that. It brings really good joy to them. And as I put it, if I can create a moment that can kind of just allow them to have some happiness like in this present moment and forget about everything else going on, then I consider myself doing a pretty good job with what I'm doing for performing.
Oh my gosh.
So I'm curious, how did you come to that understanding or mindset of wanting to help other people experience joy? Because ultimately that's what Nana and I hope to cultivate. And, for me, Ryan, I study theology, metaphysics, and quantum physics, right? So I'm all about the energy and the vibration. And I understand that our purpose in this human experience is to cultivate happiness and help other people experience happiness. So where did that understanding or your drive come from?
It came from a combination of experience. So over the years as I performed for people, and then one of the best ever performances that I got to see is what really helped me out. There was a performance, I think it was about now 2 years ago at the Hanover Theater here in Worcester.
Oh yeah.
That was four magicians actually performed there. The tour was called The Foolers. They're people who actually fooled Penn and Teller on Penn and Teller Fool Us. And when I was watching them perform, not only did I get to watch them perform, but I also went on stage for one of the performances as well too. So I got to help out a little bit with that. And when I saw not only the professionalism, but also just the energy that they fed off from the crowd for the illusions that they were doing. That just sparked the drive for me to keep going with what I was doing and keep performing it. Because when I perform, I feed off the energy that the crowd has. That's why I keep them engaged so much. Because as you know, Kerri, there's an energy flow whenever
100%.
a performance goes on. Yep.
Well, it's so interesting because Nana and I were recently at the Hanover Theater and we went and saw the Black Violin. And I have to tell you, I was telling Nana, one of the violinists was so enthralled. Like his energy was pouring out of it was insane to the point where I would follow this man around just to like see him perform because he vibed so much.
Yep.
But it's true. It is an energy exchange. And when you have people's attention, and I think the other important thing is you're really passionate about what you do. I don't think you can cultivate and captivate people unless you absolutely love what you do. Because then you're in flow. And as much as you practice your craft and your script, the reality is once you get up on stage, flow is going to just drive you.
Exactly.
And it's so interesting too. Not to cut you off, right? That's a perfect example too. Was when we went to the Linkin Park concert. That was like that's been on my checklist for a while. And I remember when we first dated or started dating, I was like, babe, if Linkin Park ever goes on tour, we gotta go. And literally, like, I was like, nah, you can't make this up. So when they were on tour, there was no way we were not going. And like to see how Mike Shinoda, obviously one of the major influences of Linkin Park, was just like you could tell that he was in like a euphoric like
he loved
flow of just like my gosh, like, these people really came out and still support us even despite the challenges of Linkin Park with Chester Bennington passing away, rest in peace. But like it was just a beautiful moment, and he didn't let that slow it down. With like it wasn't like a sad thing. It was really like a positive, upbeat thing of like, hey, we still got to do it in the memory of like keep moving forward. And that's the thing is like I have moments where even with work wise, like I hit a wall, right? A lot as much as like people see that I'm selling cars and stuff like that. I hit a wall because I'm human, and at the end of the day, like I can either stay stuck at that wall or try to get through it. Or get past it somehow. I mean, and that's a little like the spark of like having little moments like that, like whether it's a concert or whether it's seeing my friends at a con or I don't know, seeing somebody at the gym that I haven't seen, which I saw Carmen today. She said hi, by the way. But like all that stuff, it breaks the monotony of life. And so like I get a little spark when I'm like, okay, this is why I do these things. This is why I'm able to keep being who I am as a person,
Well, shout out to I'm not even going to try to pronounce your name, but whoever shouted out Ryan.
I know who that is.
I was not trying to pronounce that because I know that's a hell.
She's a good friend of ours.
Yes. Oh, I love that. Well, we appreciate you joining, and please feel free to comment. My question for you, Ryan, is how do you navigate challenging times such as Nana or myself when we all go through life be lifing.
Life be lifing.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
It's real talk. How do you cultivate joy during moments that aren't always as
upbeat?
Yeah, that's a great way to put it.
I try to dive into my hobbies as much as I can, not only with performing, but also as Nana knows, I love going to like anime and comic conventions, and I gotta add something with that too.
Please.
So usually I go by myself to a lot of the comic conventions, but a lot of my friends are gonna be there. And the one way I know that it's gonna be an awesome time for me at a convention is whenever I find Nana at a convention. I just know it's gonna be an awesome time whenever I find.
I love it. I actually love that because Nana's very similar, and he'll go to cons by himself because Lord knows his girlfriend ain't going. Well, once in a while, because in all fairness, I did meet you at the Japanese festival.
Yep, that's right.
I think there's a real gift to showing up by yourself because you open yourself up to unexpected possibilities when you don't have a set plan. And Nana and I are wicked easy. Like we go with the flow, but sometimes we can get caught up with our friends and we get stuck into this. idea of how things need to be. But when
That's
you're
true.
by yourself,
You just
Yeah.
don't.
it's endless
You
possibilities.
just don't.
Yep.
I mean, and that's a funny thing that you bring it up because, like, I'll tell Kerri all the time, like, I'll go to a con by myself, which I'm absolutely fine with. Like, I'll just walk around like a carefree, aimless person just trying to figure out life. And then by the time the con is over, it is like damn near 10 people, and I'm like,
Yeah,
oh, like,
Yeah.
the Pied Piper, the guy
Yeah.
who
Yeah.
whispering all that.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
it's so cool because, like, I've had moments. I mean, a perfect example was Rhode Island anime.
Yeah.
Where we, like, literally was like, I think it was me and Connor because we were doing the whole thing. Shout out to Connor, by the way. And then, like, we just started. It was almost like that game of what is it, Snake? When they just keep gathering things.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yep.
Like, it's like that's what it felt like, and I was like, holy crap! It went from like 2 people to like damn near 10 of us, and then we went to go grab food, and we're shooting the shit at the food court, and made that funny ass video and shit. Like, it's just so hilarious. But like, I think that's what cons should be about. Like, you know, you can go by yourself if you wanted to and have a great time. You can go with a group and also have a great time. Like, it's just however you want to go and enjoy it. You make the best of every opportunity, and I love it. I love just the whole idea of like seeing friends I haven't seen in a while because we all have lives, right? Like, you know, I have Kerri, I have work, I have the gym, I have my family. There's a lot of moving parts, but when I'm in the space of a con, I'm enjoying it for what it is in that moment or the duration of the weekend or whatever it is too, you know?
Yeah. Well, you know, something I want to highlight that I love that you said, Ryan, because I obviously work in the mental health and addiction recovery fields, is you lean into what brings you joy when you're not feeling joyful. And I think that's a practice. You know, so often we get caught up in our head and focused on what's not working out. You know, I'm not having the great car month or whatever this is. But you've been able to cultivate a practice of, okay, if things aren't feeling as great for me right now, I'm going to actively seek things I know will make me feel better. How did you come about that approach, or have you always just kind of leaned into knowing what you need to do to take care of yourself when things are hard?
It's taken me a bit of time to do that. During the pandemic was one of the hardest times for me because I couldn't really do anything during then. And then what actually allowed me to kind of break more into it is actually when I did move out to Worcester for my current job, which I work over at UMass Chan Medical School. When I moved to Worcester in I've been living in Worcester for 4 years now. And the great thing about it is that not only are the cons really good for me, but also I am a huge fan of hard rock and heavy metal music. So the Palladium, which is a venue like
but you also have Ralph's. Have you ever been to Ralph's?
Ralph's Diner? I have, quite a few times.
That is so funny. Back in the day when I used to hit up the bars quite frequently, which there was a time and place, that was a place to be. And the Lucky Dog, but they tore that building down.
Sorry.
That's a really long pipe.
Sorry about that.
So, okay, what do you do at this medical facility?
So my day job is working in biomedical research. I'm a research assistant. So what I do is I work actually, and this might scare some people a little bit, but my day job is basically I work with laboratory animals for a living. We do genetic editing on these mice.
CRISPR.
Yes, CRISPR, exactly.
Yeah. How do you
do know because I'm a nerd and I love to because they were able to remove sickle cell.
Yep, exactly.
You just happened to something. She's gonna be. You just woke her up. Not that she wasn't already awake, but now.
So I work in what's called the Transgenic Animal Modeling Corps, and what we do is we actually create and breed these mice that are genetically edited for researchers to work on in the gene therapy department. And some of the diseases that we actually make models for are like rare genetic diseases that like affect people to the point where they're almost immobile. They're mute. It seems like they're not all of them is functioning very well. And we work with mice that are actually used for research on these kind of diseases that other researchers use. And I am very glad to say that some of the mice that we have worked with have actually gone on into research and clinical trials to help some of these people out with these diseases.
So I'm guessing, obviously, you went to school for this. Is
Yes.
that one of your passions as well? Is science?
Oh, so as I put it, if I could combine anything with like any kind of science, I love it. That's why I like Dr. Stone so
Dude.
much.
Dude, I'm sorry, this just makes me happy. I'm
Yeah.
just like, nah, because like the thing is, people don't realize is like we all have like different sides to ourselves, right? Like
Yep.
when I met you, I would have never guessed like that would even like be your thing.
Yeah,
And
I know,
remember you
right?
brought it up, and I was like, because I remember Kerri was like, I was like, I know Brian works in like some kind of medical like lab, but I just wasn't
Yep.
sure exactly. But
Yeah.
you're literally like helping, like it's I don't know
Well,
how to, like,
alleviate
a
Yep.
lot of like
mutations in
Yes.
the DNA
Yep.
because
Yes.
you use RNA or something.
Yep.
It's almost like I'm a nerd. You get me talking about science.
Yeah, right.
I'll tell you what, if drugs didn't hit at 14, I could have gone on to do some great things.
Oh,
And now
yes.
I am. I just learned on my own, but that's so funny.
It's
wicked
always fun
love
with that.
So you
Yeah.
love your day job as well, then too.
As I will put it, I love the work that I do. There could definitely be some days here and there.
That's
It's kind of
human
like an ebb and flow a little bit sometimes. Sometimes the experiments go so well and so great, and you have that wonderful feeling inside of you. Sometimes the experiments don't go as great as you want them to,
Yeah.
and you kind of feel like you're stuck a little bit. But as I've learned in working at UMass for over 4 years, you'll have those days, but you have to just keep pressing through with it. And as you keep doing that, you eventually get to the point where you not only get things published, but also sometimes other researchers, when they give their talks, they mention and cite the work that you've done. And that to me is like one of the best feelings I've
Right.
ever had before with that.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well,
I'm just in
so
awe.
Nana's sister Michelle
Yes.
is in bio
Yep.
research, and she's
Ah.
constantly talking about some of the research you're doing and different experiments. And so, I mean, again, I imagine it leans or leads or feeds rather your creative brain, because for me, right, when you think about
Yep.
some of the great scientists of all time,
Mhm.
Einstein, for example.
Oh, yep.
He had an imagination
Mm.
that was out there,
Childlike.
because how
Very
can
childlike.
you create something that's never existed if you
Mhm.
don't first create it in your mind,
Uh-huh.
which
Yep.
comes from
It's all up
imagination.
here.
Yes. Yeah, I actually like to joke a little bit with people. I love working with animals, but intertwined with that as well is I actually have a strong love and passion for microbiology. And I like to joke with people, I would never do this, but I tell people the reason why I like microbiology so much is because I've studied like bacteria and diseases
Yeah.
that can kill people.
Yep.
So I study it is because it's like, yeah, these can kill people. So if you know how it kills people, you do a little reverse engineering, and that's how you fight back against it.
Real shit.
But that's
Real
real
shit.
talk. Like,
Real
Right.
shit.
I
Yep.
have to tell you, one of the people I most admire is my children's father, because he could
Mhm.
reverse engineer the most insane things. And I'm like, wow,
Right.
I would have so he never knew how to build it. But once he figured out how to pull it
Mhm.
apart, now he had the skill set to build it better.
Shout
Yep.
out. Shout out.
That's
I know.
amazing.
That's so cool. And I love bringing this up too. There's actually an anime that kind of goes in with that. It's called Cells at Work. And
Cells at work?
yep.
Bro, why are these
I feel-
animes that I don't know?
I
bro?
feel
Like,
like there's animes for everything.
No,
Oh,
there really is.
there
I found
seriously
out there's
is.
the anime of like tennis or golf.
Yes,
One
there's-
of them, I
yes,
was
it's
like,
golf.
what the hell?
there's
Yep.
one of the things people don't realize is that as long as people say, "Oh, animes for kids," it's really not for kids.
No.
It's for anyone. It's for
Yep.
anyone. There's
Exactly.
different animes about like food. There's animes
Yep.
about I don't know, like the most random things. Like, and
Mhm.
you probably wouldn't be surprised. I mean, chakras. That's like in Naruto. So
I
like
know.
that's like a whole bunch of like that stuff.
Yeah.
Well, it does make sense that they talk about energy, right?
Yep.
Because Eastern philosophies and Eastern theologies, I mean, they understand
Mm.
energy far
Correct.
better than the West does.
Correct. Correct. But that's what I mean. I always tell people like there's so many different ones. Like there's for any group, like you can look up anything and there'll be an anime of some sort of it. And it could be like, you know what I mean? Like Parasite, which is, you know,
Oh,
one of the really good animes. And then you
Yep.
have like Death
Oh,
Note,
yeah.
which has more drama, and then you have Attack on Titan, which is also
Yep.
like Dr. Stone, which is
Yeah.
a different story within itself, and that falls into E equals MC squared. Like what I
Oh
mean?
yeah,
That's,
exactly.
so like there's certain little niches about it. Like, and the funny thing is, you can learn a lot about a person by watching, like knowing which animes they watch.
Yep.
Like what I mean, if somebody's watching more like Dragon Ball Z,
Yeah.
Poppy, they're more like probably more like action oriented or like they're bodybuilder-ish type of thing. But if they're watching Dr. Stone, they're more scientifically inclined, and it makes sense because it's something that intrigues them and it makes them want to learn about it. And you learn shit from anime. That's what people don't realize.
Yeah.
There's always a life lesson in something of that nature.
Yeah, there's been so many stuff that's influenced me in anime to like try and actually incorporate like with what I do.
You see? Good. Talk please.
Yeah. I'll tell you, actually, some of my favorite anime is actually not even like the TV series anime. I have loved ever since I saw the movie. Actually, let me pan down and I'll show I'll show you something.
Please.
Here.
Please.
You might actually recognize this design on my shirt here.
I feel like is that this is Studio Ghibli?
Yep. Spirited Away.
Spirited Away. Is that
Spirited Away? Yep.
Oh yeah.
I couldn't get the name right, but I've seen that a couple of times actually, because it has is it Pena? What's her name?
It has Chihiro is the main character's name.
That's what it is. That's what it is.
And that holds so much value to me. Just like it's influenced so much stuff in my life because I saw Spirited Away when it first came out in theaters back in 2001.
Yep.
And ever since I've gone on a thing of watching like almost all of the Studio Ghibli.
Oh my god!
Yeah,
Howl's
isn't it Howl's Moving Castle?
Yeah,
that's a comment. That's because so our daughter loves Studio Ghibli stuff.
Yep.
So Julia and Billy, like that's their shit.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's really good.
Howl's
now,
Moving Castle is a
mind
big
you,
one too.
It did nothing for me. In my mind, I'm like, what the actual hell is happening here?
No, that's a goated. Like that's one of like the
mean,
movies. Spirited Away is like up there. Like that's always going to be.
Yeah,
like,
it's
one of the
it's one of my so my top two. Well, actually, it's now top three Studio Ghibli movies are Spirited Away, Castle in the Sky, and now the newest one that's come out, The Boy and the Heron. That is.
Yeah, I haven't seen that one.
It's so good. It has so many elements of like the previous movies.
Yes,
that they actually put, and it's absolutely amazing. And the stories that they tell in it are just, it literally transports you to another world.
Well, that's the thing too with like Studio Ghibli. They're known to capture the audiences with their art style too.
Yep.
Because like, oh my gosh, like it just looks so like fluid, and then the story behind it, like there's always some kind of like double meaning to whatever it is. Like Spirited Away has a meaning, or Howl's Moving Castle has a meaning, and they're like, oh shoot, like that. So like I don't know. I think they do a really great job of like representing what anime could be for like the general audience that wants to know what it's about. You know what I mean? So
yeah, Studio Ghibli is kind of like the gateway anime to get into like more like regular anime stuff. That's the way I put it.
Correct.
Well, so how did you get into anime, or have you always kind of been into illustrative works?
So what got me into anime is what got like everybody else in our 30s into anime. Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, all those ones is what got me into it. That's literally how I got into it. Pokemon will always like Pokemon. It's the gateway drug. Yeah, it's literally the gateway drug because I can tell you right now, I even tell people I do have a favorite Pokemon, and it's Umbreon. I love all the evolutions, but Umbreon is my favorite.
So Ryan, you got to explain to Kerri who Umbreon is, because you don't know shit about Pokemon. I know what Pokemon is, but
I know that he dresses up as Pikachu. That's a Pokemon, right?
Yeah.
So see, I'm living out life, right? See, I know.
Yep, that's exactly. So in Pokemon, there is a Pokemon called Eevee, which is a normal type Pokemon. So it's got like, as I put it, it's kind of like sort of a bland type Pokemon. But this Pokemon can evolve based on certain factors into actually was it 8 evolutions? I think we're up to now. There is
originally there was like 5 of them, and then
and then they added more.
Avenues.
So Eevee is kind of like what I call the if we go into science terms, like the stem cell of Pokemon, basically. Yep. You understand? Yep. You understand? So there are the main three that you start off like with the first. There are so many different generations of Pokemon. I don't even try to keep up with it anymore. But in the first generation of Pokemon, there are three evolutions that Eevee can do. There's the Fire type Flareon, the Electric type Jolteon, and the Water type Vaporeon.
Yep.
Then after that one, there is the Psychic type Espeon, and my personal favorite, the Dark type Umbreon. Yep. And then they added more. There's the Grass type Leafeon. There's Glaceon, the Ice type, and then they've ended now on the Fairy type. Interestingly enough, Sylveon, which I'm just like,
that's one I don't know. I know like all the other one, but that one is new. Like
Sylveon's the weirdest one to me, but it works apparently.
I mean, like Pokemon to me, but it's so interesting because when you think about it from the elemental perspective and science perspective, fire, water, air.
Oh, Avatar.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Fire, water, air, and then when the Fire Nation attacked. But that's the thing is it shows like you can tap into so many different elements of life when you're thinking about even anime. Like there's so many different things. Like you have anime about like I don't know, like just the most random things that like people don't think about. Like there's one about like food wars, and I'm like,
I know that.
You got like they're cooking hot, they're fighting with food. It's like this shit don't make any sense, but it makes sense to somebody because somebody's gonna watch and be like, yo,
that's what I like. So something that I really like about the cosplay community and by extension, I think anime because there is a huge
inclusivity.
Yeah, well, it blends very well. Is the ability to cross all cultural barriers in that arena, because whether you come from affluent America or you come from projects in Worcester, or you are Jewish, or you are trans, like everybody comes into this space and feels safe to be seen, heard, and accepted. I think that is a real powerful testament to the anime and the con culture.
Yeah, it is. And I actually saw a very good representation of that this past Sunday. I'm slowly getting into what's called the idol community of cosplay. So that's basically like a lot of people, what they do for the idol community is that they dress up in like these like really cute outfits and stuff for it. And they have like choreography and lip syncing to like
good shit.
Like J-pop and K-pop songs with that. I have a lot of good friends who are in that, and I went to it was called Idol Jam this past Sunday out in Somerville, and it was really interesting, like seeing just all the different songs, all the different outfits that the cosplayers wore there, and just all the energy that they had going through. And I allude to this as well too. The performances that I give when I perform in cosplay and what the idol people do when they perform are actually very similar, because we want to keep all the energy up and going for people. And we all, again, feed off of this energy, not only from the audience, but what we're giving out to as well. So there's a lot of similarities I've noticed like over the years of just seeing it, of what my performances are and then what the idol community does as well too. So I have a lot of respect for them with what they do for that.
And I love that you bring that up because it's so interesting. Because
real quick, I'm cutting you off. Respond.
That's Rosalie.
Rosalie, that's Rosalie. Yeah.
What's up? Thanks for tapping in and saying hi. We appreciate you.
As well.
So the funny thing about with Rosalie is her and I are both huge into Resident Evil. Resident Evil.
So which Kenny hosts? Remember how you met Kenny for the ticket for New York Comic Con last year?
Vaguely.
Kenneth, the one
Ken Ferrer, good friend of mine.
He's the one that runs a lot of like the Resident Evil like meetups and stuff. He's good people too. Like he's
awesome guy.
He literally actually sent me Paxy's like content creator thing literally today. So I'm gonna like put an application for that. But I'm like, he's been instrumental in the whole like me being actually where I'm heading towards in the cosplay community. And I always give credit to people that put the work into it. He does it constantly, and I'm like, dude, like you are literally like living it to the fullest. You know what I mean?
He really is. He's like he's helped me out with like getting into like so many kinds of things before, not only with Resident Evil, but there's so much other stuff. I love the fact that he cosplays as Eddie Munson from Stranger Things. That's like that, and his Leon Kennedy cosplay are like the two big ones I know what to do with that a lot. He influences so much stuff with that, and when I see him around with stuff, especially when I do my Resident Evil cosplay, it's like when you get all of us around for that, it creates such an awesome atmosphere.
There's a community for it, right? That's what it comes down to. There is community for anything, you know what I mean? And it's the same thing even like when I go to like per se bigger cons, i.e. like the Anime Boston's, you know, Anime NYC's, New York Comic Cons or whatever it is, there's a huge gathering of so many people. However, going back to that is that I can also be at a smaller con per se, like another anime convention or, you know, Anime New Jersey, which shout out to them, by the way. But I feel like there's different experiences that I have, right? Where the bigger cons, like I'm going to be everywhere. There's going to be a lot more moving parts and more, you know, masquerade type things where the smaller, well, not even smaller, more the intimate cons are more like panel oriented or performance oriented. So that's the thing is like you're getting both preferences depending on what you feel like. And if you feel like, hey, I want to be in a bigger con, you're going to get more traction or whatever it is, but you get more personal bonding when you're at these, you know, not so huge bonds. I mean, huge cons because you're just like in that space alone with people and stuff like that, you know?
Yeah, that's why I like going to like a lot of the smaller cons because it does feel like you're more inclusive with stuff. But the bigger cons, I also like going to also see what kind of cosplays people bring out as well too.
People bring it out. It's like a Super Bowl for them, and I always
by a long shot.
Like literally, like whether it's the masquerade and there's somebody on stage and doing a performance, which I've seen a couple of them, and it's beautiful because you're like, man, this person probably took, you know, months to choreograph this thing or whatever. And the same thing with yourself if you're doing a you know, act or whatnot, you want to keep perfecting that craft. And I mean, there's a funny quote by Allen Iverson where he says, we talk about practice, you need practice to actually get better at some of the stuff, depending on if you're naturally gifted at it or if you have to actually work for it, you know what I mean? So
I can tell you right now, when I first started off in Magic, I hated like going so much into practice stuff. And the reason is because when I was like the young teenager, you know, you have like the huge aspirations. Hey, I'm going to be performing for this. I'm going to be doing all that. I don't need practice. I just got to get the tricks and perform for that. And I found out the hard way. No, you need to put the practice in for that. Otherwise, you will make a fool of yourself. I've learned from experience with that because I have done that. I have, as I put it, when you're practicing stuff and when you're going, you will fail. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. You will fail a lot. But it's learning from those failures that allows you to keep the experience going. And that's how I've gotten to the point where I am that when I go on stage, I feel so comfortable in front of an audience when I'm in performer mindset. I know how to draw people in. And by doing that, it just keeps their focus. And from what everybody's told me when they see my performance, they're like, dude, that was awesome. And they keep on asking me, why don't people know you more? Like when you perform, you seriously give off an awesome vibe with that. And I tell people, it's more because even I'll admit it, and I'm not afraid to admit this. I don't have all that many. I don't have like all that many followers compared to other people on Instagram. I prefer to do things in person, and I'd rather have people come and see what I do because that draws them in, and that's what really shows them what my talents are.
Well, that's the thing is, and not to cut you off or anything like that. I know she's ready to reload something on me, but like what I was gonna say is like it's the same thing in my aspect, right? Like I might not have dang near 50,000 followers, but I know the impact that I make with people goes further beyond whatever they see in the analytics. Like I know that like if I go to a con, I'm going to be able to be of service to someone to bring that sense of joy and happiness. And like somebody had said the other day, one of my friends reached out. He's like, "Oh, so I heard you're going to Rhode Island Comic Con. Do you have a booth or anything?" I said, truthfully, I don't really want a booth. And this is not to like talk bad about anybody that has a booth, but I'm a man of the people. I want to be with the people. I don't want to be up in the corner looking down at people like I'm some kind of Batman looking figure or something like that. Like, you know what I mean? I want to be in with the people that like really vibe with me. I want to meet people. So I was like, no, I'm just going to be walking around just doing the shit that I do anyway. So that drives me to like keep making that impact. And I might not have 50,000 followers, but I know that at the end of the day, like I left with giving people the best of when they meet me in person. You know what I mean? It's like the same thing online and in person. that's within itself, you know.
Yep.
Well, I mean, I
grab
want
water
to
real
add
quick.
to that
Yep,
because
sure.
there's two pieces that I want to touch upon. One, you said practice, which
Yep.
I encourage everybody that I work with, talk to. Discipline equals devotion to self.
Mhm.
Whether you're disciplined in singing or disciplined in studying theology or disciplined in whatever, that discipline is the devotion to the passion that you have committed to, that your heart is following. So there really is that in itself brings joy because you are constantly evolving what it is you love to do in the first place, right? And
Yeah.
then secondly, I like you, I've never been about creating a big following. And I built a global business simply by word of mouth. Because to your point, you're going to create a greater impact with that one-on-one, that personal touch than you ever will having a huge following on social media. It may take longer, but when you think about it, the things that last were curated over time. It wasn't this quick fix. And so I always remind myself, the things, the pyramids, the Sphinx, all these great things, they were cultivated mathematically and strategically to test, like last the test of time. And so it doesn't matter what you have for a phone. People will forget what you say and they will forget anything. They will never forget how you made them feel.
Exactly. And I want to add something to that as well too. And
Maya Angelou.
Yep. There's a guy who I know who he used to be a magician a long time ago, but now he is a consultant for getting people to the TEDx Red Dot. He works, he works with people to get them to the TEDx talks. His name is Brian Miller, and he actually had put out a book called 3 New People that talks about the connections that you can make, not only in magic, but also with other things as well too. And I got to read that book when it was in its early stages. And I got to give him credit that he's the one who actually kind of showed me a little bit when I not only have I seen him perform like a long time ago, but also when I read the book, that just really showed that, hey, it doesn't necessarily matter like what social media is. If you can make the impact on 1, 2, or 3 new people, that is what's going to carry it more than anything else. If they remember who you are, how you made them felt, and just in the moment of what you did, that's going to have a much greater impact than any other thing. And that's always the way that I go for with my performance. If they remember that they had a good time, they remembered that I drew them in, that they were just entranced with what I was performing, and they go away with just a great feeling, then I did my job as a magician for that. That's what I always think of whenever I do my performances.
Well, and I mean, I think that that's applicable in everyday life and everything that we do, right? If for me, I have a very strange business model, right? Most people are like, what do you mean you let people pay what they want? And the reason why is I work in mental health where it's inaccessible for a lot of people. It's never about the money. It's about the impact and making sure that I can be of service to the individual who wants to do the work and see that change in their life. But Nana, it's about educating that individual. It's not about selling the car or making the profit. And I think that's where people really sometimes they miss the boat. They think that it's to secure a specific outcome, but it's really not. It's really honestly to make an impact to that person's spirit, because that's going to be the thing that even if they don't recommend you today, 6 months from now, their friend could be like, hey, I'm looking for a performer. And they're going to be like, yo, that person, Ryan killed it so much so that I remember him.
Exactly.
And I'm going to offer his name up.
And I love that, to cut into what you're saying too, is like, it's the word of mouth, right? So like, it's, this, the idea of quality over quantity is
exactly.
Too. I'd rather meet 5 people and make an impact with them than meet 300,000 people and not anyone remember who I am. You know what I mean? Like, that's the thing, is like, the 5 people will be like, oh shit, like that is like, you have 5 people that stuck with you for life because they're like, they remember that experience. They'll talk about that all the time when it comes down to it, right? Where 300,000 people, it just might be another day in the life of just trying to get through it.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? So,
exactly.
that's the whole quantity over quality. Like, I value that a lot. So like, it's the same thing with my job. If I meet someone, I'm very like, let's sit down, let's get to know you as a person.
Yep.
I mean, not just like you're just a transactional. And it's the same thing if I meet somebody in the cosplay community, I'm sitting down with them, and it could be somebody I've never even met. Like, it happens all the time. Like, I'll meet someone and then they're like, oh shit, like, I mean, and then there's another con that they see me and like, oh, what up? And then it becomes
exactly. Yep.
That's how we met, right? And then here we are now. You're literally on our podcast, which is amazing.
I know, right?
We did this because like people get nervous to go on here, which I think is so interesting because I'm like, it's a way to just talk, who you are as a person.
Yep,
and
exactly.
just be yourself. But
it's a skill set.
Yeah, it's a skill set.
It is. It definitely is, because when I'm not in performance mode or when I'm not in cons, like in my everyday life, I'm actually very, very shy and I don't really go out and do much stuff. But once the cons or my performances come around,
the switch up.
Exactly. The switch flips and I go into like actually being able to talk to people really easily and that kind of stuff. So it's so interesting with that. And when I learned how to actually practice it and channel it, it's made stuff so much easier for me when I go as a performer. So that's like one of the things I like.
We only have a couple minutes left. With the last couple minutes, where do you see yourself? Like, what is one of the goals that you're working to achieve, either in your magicianship or in cosplay?
Ooh, magicianship.
That's cool. So I will definitely go with magician stuff for that.
It's kind of like I have some intellect.
So honestly, the big thing that I've been pushing forward to, and this is gonna like probably take me a few years, is to actually eventually appear on Penn and Teller Fool Us, because that's like one of the things. I know that in order to do that, I'm gonna have to actually invest in myself a lot with that, because I actually want to get training from Jeff McBride out in Las Vegas in his school to actually elevate my magic to the point where not only am I doing that, but also to the point where these anime conventions are around. Yep. I want to be a featured performer there as well too, because I can show them, hey, this is what I've been doing at the cons. People really enjoy this. This is why you should bring me out there and hire me to perform for you, because this literally is bringing people together. And that's really what I think a lot of these cons are supposed to be about. They bring all the community together. And if I can add an element to it, I think it's very worth their time and money to hire me to perform out there. So that's like,
wait a minute. I feel like I need a mic drop. We're gonna pretend mic drop.
Right? Yep.
So there's a couple things for the listening audience I want to highlight.
Yep.
Yes. Sheesh. So one, when I asked you what your dream was, you already had one. And when we're talking about living a joy-filled life, I encourage people, dream big, have those dreams that make you kind of shake in your boots, be like, nah, I don't know, but dream, because if you don't have a vision of where you want your future, you have no clear path, right? Secondly, you said invest in yourself. Hello, mic drop. The reality is if you're not investing in yourself, who's going to?
Exactly.
And we are all worthy of putting in the effort, the time, the money, whatever it is that feeds and nourishes the things that we want to accomplish. And so I absolutely love that. And then lastly, you know your worth so much that you like, I know that I have a quality product that anime conventions can pay for to bring me on and do this. And that is just, that is brilliant. And that truly tells me that you are tapped into joy, because very often I talk to individuals who they play small because we've been conditioned to play small. And you're like, nah, this is my goal. I have to invest in myself. And I know that the product I offer is worthy of being highlighted and shouted out at an anime convention. I love that so much.
So can I know we only have a little bit of time left, but can I end it on an awesome note for you guys?
Absolutely.
Yes.
As you know, I perform magic with Pokemon stuff, and I want to show you guys something. Yes.
Let's go. I was going to say, please, you got to put me on.
This is one of my favorite things to show people.
Okay.
So I have here the 3 starter type Pokemon. We got Bulbasaur, we got Charmander, the fire type, and we got Squirtle, the water type. So as I say sometimes, my favorite person on this is Charmander. Not as many people like Bulbasaur, but there's still love for Bulbasaur. So we got Bulbasaur here on the bottom. We've got Bulbasaur on the top. And we've also got Bulbasaur in the middle. So we got Bulbasaur there. Next up we have Squirtle on the bottom here. We have Squirtle on the top.
Oh wait, what the fuck?
I know, right? And then we have
Squirtle magic shape, bro.
And then this is Squirtle in the middle. All right, so I showed you Bulbasaur and Squirtle. Let's get to my favorite one. We got Charmander on the bottom.
Yes.
We've got Charmander on the top. And then we have Charmander in the middle. So this is probably, you're probably like, wait, what's going on? You just showed me 3 of each of those. I got 1 of 3 cards. No, actually, watch. You got 1, 2, 3 Pokemon cards. That's it there. So again, I'll show you. We have here, we got Charmander here.
Yep.
Next up, we have over here, Squirtle right there. So I just showed you Charmander and Squirtle.
Squirtle, water and fire type.
Who was the last one that was there?
It should be Bulbasaur.
You would think, but I actually got lucky because now that's Pikachu
No,
there.
What the fuck?
Yeah. Right.
This shit that. Yo, what the?
Thank you.
I was looking forward to something like this.
Right?
I love
Bro!
that.
Right? Thank you so much.
I'm so glad that you did that for
Right?
me.
I love performing that, and that's what you guys just showed with that energy. That's what drives me. That's the passion what I feed off. That's why I do what I do.
All right, so I always ask this at the end, and I'll say mine. I always ask everybody to leave one piece of advice, insight, something for the listening audience to help them either think about or cultivate more joy in their life. So I'll start. I'll have you end, Ryan. I would just encourage all of you out there to stay curious, to not close your mind to new things such as being part of magic or even anime. And in doing so, you don't know what the next thing that you figure out is going to bring you joy. What about you, babe?
I think me personally, I would say to the people that are attending the Rhode Island Comic-Con this weekend, live in the moment and enjoy, or even if you're not even at the con, be engaging. Like, you know what I mean? People are going to be posting stuff online and like you still can live vicariously in a sense to the person. So you can still see what's going on and literally feel like you're not left out if you are not able to attend. So be engaging.
I love that.
Exactly. And then the piece of wisdom I'll impart to people, and it's one of my favorite quotes by if you remember Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, look for the helpers and be a helper yourself. Engage in your community, be the helper that you can be with other people, volunteer, all that stuff. Create a great community for everybody. Be a part of the community that you are, and that's how you will really find joy, by just interacting with people in your community, no matter what way you do it. So that's what I'll impart on everyone.
Ryan, please stay on. For the listening audience, that concludes an amazing episode 34 of the Bright Side Chronicles. And if you have any questions, comments, want to be a guest, reach out to Nana or myself.
Please do.
And please follow Ryan. His information has been scrolling across the screen throughout the show. Until next week, we appreciate you all and keep looking for the bright side.